What is it to?
Right.
Part of moving on is part of getting rid of stuff, isn't it, at the same time?
Knee pad?
No.
No?
Which one is it, left or right?
Very funny.
You get to that camp gate, don't you, when you first join, and the first day you're there, you're like, there's your kit, that's what you're going to wear now, for like, foreseeable future. And then I suppose now it's like an identity being taken away from you, isn't it? Just another civvy on your own, aren't you, on your own shift.
There'll never be another civvy, mate. Ever.
I think it's upsetting to see it all just in the boxes, but then relief that I'm not going to have to go to same places again. I'll do them things again in your life. Different thing going through my head, I think. I can't remember what day it was, but the OC got the company on parade and went, right guys, in about 4 days, we're going to Afghanistan. This company. He asked for volunteers at first, so a lot of guys put their hands up, including myself. But we're going out to Afghanistan is something that's not been used for like a very long time. It's like battlefield casualty replacements. So obviously we knew the areas we were going into were going to be quite risky areas because we were going there to step in basically dead on shoes. At least like once or twice a day you see a helicopter come and land, ambulances rush out towards it, so obviously you knew someone else had been killed or injured or whatever in some way. I suppose in the back of your mind you go on tour and you know what could happen to you. But I think as it being our first tour to Afghan, maybe I was a bit blinkered. I think there's only Youngie, Mo and Easter who's still in the army. There's only 3 of them still in.
Hey, just because you've only got one fucking arm doesn't mean you can't help.
It's probably to do with what they've seen and they didn't want to go back to Afghan again. I probably wouldn't have gone back there myself, to be honest, really. But that's my decision then, isn't it? Where now it's not my decision really, it's like whether you want to stay in or not, you're out, so.
6 months ago, my social worker put in an application for rehousing, and last week I was informed that I was entitled to a bungalow. Very nice, isn't it?
Yes, lovely.
It's a lot better than the other place. With it being all on one level, it's absolutely brilliant. Yep, I can't wait.
It's so much more peaceful for him, which is better for his state of mind as well. If he can try and start to maybe just relax.
Yeah. I'm well pleased, really am. I just want to get settled in now and look forward to the future. What I'll do now is move these around again.
Pull that back, that bit will go up to there, won't it? I've got like one or two civilian friends and they haven't got a clue. I couldn't talk to them the same way I can talk to army guys because they can't relate to it.
Oh, leave him. We'll just shoot him in. He'll drive.
So it's kind of now, you're on your own in a way.
Just get off the couch. Stop being lazy. Get out.
But I tried a bit myself with the rock because I got one of the extension rollers. I tried a bit myself every day, but it needs another coat. That's all I could do. This is what pees me off because I can't do it all myself. The new house is absolutely fantastic. It's alleviated a lot of the pressures with Tara as well. Seeing him happy for a change has obviously perked me up as well. My brother's visited today and he's helping paint my son's room.
What colour did your son want his room?
Oh crikey, is it timeless or something? Very dark, because he's into that sort of cultural thing now at the moment. So that's the colour he wanted it, dark. He wanted it black at first.
What are your comments on the new house?
It's brilliant.
Yeah, I'm better feeling it, mate.
More comfortable.
Yeah. It's more like an home.
Yeah.
I was oblivious to this 12 months ago. You know, I wasn't thinking, well, why am I like this or anything like that. I was just so angry that I was taking it out on loved ones and I was taking it out on things around me. With Tyler, I mean, bless him, he's had a rough time with me. And he's scared of me. And I'm not afraid to admit that. It's a shame because it's made him a different person. But I'm just upset for what I've put him through. And it's not nice. Sorry. He doesn't go out much. He's in trouble at school because of the way he is. It's not his fault. But the damage is done now, isn't it?
Right, so first thing in the morning, PDC check. Best thing to do is follow it from top to bottom. So the first part of it, number plates in place and lit, which we're hoping that is the case.
First parade. I'm behind the times in Civvy Street. Been in the army 22 years. I don't want to go into a job saying I was in the army 22 years, do as I fucking say. It's not like that. It's not like that at all. It's, here I am, this is what I'm all about. Give me the chance to do it.
Checking the mud flaps, present and correct. All doors and locks are working, so we've already done that with the cab. Underbody visual check to make sure that we are not spewing diesel all over the place. Again, which looks okay.
We call this first parading in the army. So I've been doing it for 22 years.
Yes, teaching you how to suck eggs and all, but
no,
not at all.
Like, no, not at all.
And then the oil. Okay.
It is the exact same as the army, really.
I thought it would be.
We'd heard that Garajdal was a really bad place to be. All the places to go in Bosnia, Garajdal, you didn't want to go to Garajdal. That was things happening. You had to go through Sarajevo in your UN vehicles. I was in a Saxon. People taking pot shots at you. That was the first time that anybody had actually shot at me or RPG'd me or everything happened on that tour. You name it, it happened to us. It was so buggered up, that country. We couldn't do anything. They were killing each other around us. At the time, we didn't realise that they'd killed 8,000 Muslims just down the road from us. We didn't know that. The main people you felt sorry for was the young kids that were getting blown up and dying, and that was horrible. Kids playing with mines, and that wasn't good. Like. 9 out of 10 times they were all dead, and you're just picking up bits and bobs, and there wasn't a lot you could do.
That's a very tough thing to say as a 24-year-old.
Of course it is, yeah. That was my first tour. I think most squaddies just bottle up. Sometimes we bottle up too far.
The doctors that speak to me about mental issues and things like that, I've said, no, I haven't got any. I haven't got any that I'm aware of. But then if I did have, I don't think I'd tell them anyway, because it's one of them taboo things, isn't it? Kind of like a subject you don't really want to talk about.
I got so scared of talking to people about it. I tried, but it's a knock-on effect on your career.
It'll stop your career. No, it's just recorded that you've seen a mental health guy, and
Oh, we don't want him in this unit, he's no good to us. So they send you to another unit.
he's fucking been to see a mental health guy. So I think a lot of Scotties think that way.
I suppose it is that culture, isn't it, in the army of not reporting it or not mentioning anything because you don't want to be seen to be the weaker member of the team.
If somebody in the British Army, going back then, said, oh no, it won't affect your career, they're lying bastards. It would affect your career.
Andy has started doing some speaking about his experiences. He's been invited to give a talk to the Rugby League Club in Warrington.
Cheers guys, and thanks for the invite today to come down and hopefully might give you a bit of extra what you need to beat Wigan, which is always good as far as I'm concerned. So, just starting out with this fella, so you'll have to bear with me a little bit. So this is out in the green zone, and we went out on a 3-day operation. Over that time, they're taking quite a lot of casualties, quite a lot of people were dying of IED attacks or small arms fire, which is from rifles or whatever. And after we'd been there for 3 days, young Private Bush, his name was, said to me in the compound before we set off, he said, oh Andy, I'm a bit worried about going on this patrol. I think I'd rather be dead than lose any limbs. And I was like, really? And he's like, well, you know, it's pretty bad in it. I went, well, hopefully, you know, you shouldn't really have that frame of mind. If it happens to you, it happens to you. If it doesn't, then happy days, you know, get on with it. So we set off about 40 minutes into the patrol. The platoon sergeant, who was the rear man in the first section, stepped on an IED. He lost both his legs at the time and he was screaming out in pain. So I said to Private Bush, guy in front of me, I said, right Bush, take the medic forward and go and help him out. So Bush steps off, get going forward. About 2 or 3 metres later, Bush steps on an IED as well. Unfortunately, they both passed away before the helicopter could get there just to save him. That was like a really hard moment for myself, thinking, you know, I told this guy to go and do that. But at the end of the day, that was Private Bush's job. Thinking back to what Private Bush had said earlier on in the day about he'd rather be dead than lose any limbs, you know, I think a lot of I think if you've got that in your mind when these things happen to you, then your mind's obviously quite a powerful thing, you know. Whether he just decided to switch off because he knew, you know, that's what I'm not sure. So on the 13th of October then, 2009, I had 10 days left in Afghanistan. We set off on patrol, everything was going really smoothly. Probably about 3 or 4 metres later, I stepped on an IED. Next thing that I was aware of was just a massive dust cloud all around me. I couldn't see anything, I couldn't hear anything at that time. I looked down, I couldn't see either of my legs. But I weren't in any pain. Got back to Camp Bastion. That's where they made the initial amputations of my legs that I thought they'd come off at the time. And then the next day flew me back to Civvy Hospital in Birmingham. So I woke up there in Selly Oaks, you know, as you can see, missing some limbs, couldn't even scratch my nuts, my arms bandaged up there. But I just thought at the end of the day, I thought, you know, I'm a survivor here, you know, I'm not a victim. Like I say, I've lost them other guys, other mates of mine to IEDs, you know, they're not here. And that's what gives me a lot of drive to keep pushing forward and do what I'm doing, thinking I'm lucky. You know, if something happens to you, it's really easy to blame somebody else what's happened and go, yeah, the army's fault. But ultimately, I joined the army. So the blame lies with yourself. So I think a lot of being able to move forward with different things is accepting responsibility for your own actions. That's it. Thanks very much for letting me come along today, talk to you, and you know, hopefully you'll smash Wigan. That'll be awesome to see, and you know, we'll forget about last Monday's game. I think, you know.
Not a morning person.
It's not a good time of the year.
At night, when I'm sleeping at night, I get woken up about I have numbness in my hands, and then I've got all my aches and pains all up my back.
I've always wanted to grow up a bit faster, but yeah, I do feel a lot more grown up than what I should be.
I'm just going to get a shower. You can put my shoes on first, man. I won't take you a sec, but...
Do you worry about him?
A lot. I worry about him if he goes to the shop by himself.
Didn't have a good night's sleep last night. Nightmares in him. It's like when I have one, it's like I'm actually physically there. Sometimes I wake up and I'm crying.
And I guess the whole thing about PTSD and the problems that people come back from wars have, it affects not only them, does it? It affects their families as well.
Yeah.
Is it warm enough?
Right out. If you just pop the... I normally just take the bags.
Is everything okay with your order then?
Yeah, I presume so, yeah.
Right, I'll just get you to sign anywhere in that box here. Just put that there.
Andy's been asked to be involved in an exhibition at the Imperial War Museum.
Have a listen.
Would you have to listen as well?
Yeah, yeah.
See how I sound? My shirt's a bit tight, innit?
No, you look fine.
Okay then, fella.
He's getting more and more interest in his story.
I remember stepping on the device, and the next thing I was aware of, I was like lying down on my back, a big dust cloud around me, and I couldn't hear anything. I looked down at that stage, I couldn't see my legs at that stage. One of the guys, young Jamie Hasty, who was the Valen guy, you know, the metal detector at the front, he put the tourniquet around my arm, and for some reason I felt it really pinch my skin. And in the most polite voice I could use, I said, Jamie, that's really hurting, you might want to calm down a little bit. And then I must have passed out again, because the next thing I remember was waking up in Selly Oaks Hospital in Birmingham, a bit confused as to where I was really. I've lost friends who stood on IEDs and unfortunately they've passed away, so I've been there on it. I've got to move myself forward and keep doing things, and it's happened, and there's no point dwelling on the fact of what's happened. I'm still here, so yeah, it's really good. I think it's just something that I'm going to have to get used to now with the direction of employment that I've chosen to be a speaker, and maybe it's a bit too easy to tell the story now. Maybe I've lost a bit of the emotional edge to it, or whatever the word is. Now it just kind of I can just say it without even really thinking about it. Probably not a good thing really. I don't know, maybe that's just how it's progressed, I suppose. Tell the same story that many times just becomes normal, doesn't it?
I've been invited to attend the televised London Remembrance Parade. I'm very nervous about it, you know, getting on the coach and the travelling, and hopefully it won't be busy. I just want to be there with somebody I was side by side.